In this, Zeno is just saying that animals pursue pleasure simply because they are governed by impulse which drives them to impulse. But people, since they have been given reason, ought to be governed by rational thought and live fairly. To chase after satisfaction as the meaning of life, and think that one is living well, is to be no greater than an animal, or as Shakespeare later expresses it in Hamlet, "What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A monster, no more. Sure he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fast in us unused." Act 4, Scene 4, 33-39. To be a true person, one needed to behave like a real human being, reasonably. When he studied under Crates of Thebes, Zeno wrote his Republic, which is rather a completely different vision of the best society than the ideal city-state as envisioned by Plato in his work of the same name. Zeno's Republic is a paradise whose residents declare our universe as their home and where everyone lives in accordance with natural laws and rational understanding. Males and females were entirely equal in society's eyes, and there was no oppression because all actions proceeded from reason. There were no laws necessary just because there was no criminal activity, and just because everybody's needs were looked after in the exact same way that animals are in nature, there was no greed, nor covetousness, nor hatred of any kind. Love governed all things, and everyone living in this cosmopolis comprehended they had what they wanted and needs for nothing more. It's thought that this vision was largely influenced by Crates' life and that of his marriage partner Hipparchia of Marnia, who survived on completely equal terms with him, wore guys' outfits, and taught philosophy to men. Crates and Hipparchia lived their lives in accordance with the simplicity of reason, and Zeno's vision in his Republic shows that view. Of Zeno's work, Plutarch later wrote, "It is actually true indeed that the so much admired Republic of Zeno, first author of the Stoic sect, aims singly at this, that neither in cities nor in the areas we should live under laws distinct one from another, but that we should look upon all people in general to be our fellow countryfolk and people, observing one way of living and one kind of order, like a flock feeding together with equal right in one typical pasture." This Zeno wrote, fancying to himself, as in a dream, a specific scheme of civil order and the image of a philosophical commonwealth. Zeno lived and taught in Athens from the time he arrived there following his shipwreck until his death. He passed away, obviously from suicide, after he tripped coming out of school and broke his toe. Lying on the ground, he quoted a line from the Niobe of Timotheus, "I come of my own accord. Why call me therefore?" And then, interpreting the accident as a sign he should depart, strangled himself. While this could seem an unusual end to the life of a man who preached the primacy of reason, it wouldn't have seemed so to him. When some happy period of someone's life ends, it is illogical to hold on to the past and dream it would return. Absolutely nothing can make that time come again, and yearning for an impossible past only robs one of the present. Zeno was an old man when he's said to have broken his toe, and realizing that he had lived a very good and meaningful life in Athens, he could have simply concluded that it was time for him to carry on to something else.